for stealing the Heavenly Emperor's cat. Rabbit Spirit Lin Q was punished with system tasks in the mortal world. She thought playing a yandere villain and breaking out the main couple would be a piece of cake. But what's up with the male lead? He's got zero interest in the other male lead and is forcing himself on him instead. Today is the day the male lead transfers schools to complete the mission of stopping the two leads from meeting. Lin Qi tied Xi Yingshan up in the equipment room and even drugged him so he couldn't break free. But he's not really a yandere, so he's worried the drug might hurt him. Sensing Lin Qi's concern, the system popped up with a ding, saying it's just a sleeping pill and won't harm the body. Plus, the way you acted just now was totally yandere. Lin Qi was praised to tears. He didn't want to be a psycho. The original plot has Xi Yingshan and Mingju secretly crushing on each other, and they eventually end up together. All he has to do is stop them from getting together at any cost, then get taken down by the main crew, and his mission in this world is complete. Now he's successfully finished the first task. As long as he follows the plot, his return to the Heavenly Palace is just around the corner. But the next second, the plot malfunctioned. Xi Yingshan, who should have been asleep, woke up. Seeing him sweating like crazy from the heat, Lin Qi realized something was wrong. The system quickly checked the pill Lin Qi just gave him. Oh my god, what kind of super aphrodisiac did you give him? Before he could finish, Lin Qi was already pinned to the floor by Xi Yingshan. Then this and that happened. Lin Qi cried out for the system to do something, but the system just shyly covered its eyes, saying this was its first time dealing with this situation, and it needed to consult management first. Then it bolted. When it came back 3 hours later, Lin Qi looked at the system with unspeakable grievance. Do you know how much I suffered for this mission? The system begged pitifully for mercy. Sorry, sweetie. Management said I'm not cut out for this, and made me sit through training. So I got back late. Lin Qi didn't want to deal with the system. He was just glad Xi Yingshan was out of it from the drug, or he'd really be done for. Just then, the class bell rang outside. Shoot, he'd been skipping for way too long. The original body's homeroom teacher is no pushover, so he rushed to the classroom. Little did he know that right after he left, Xi Yingshan opened his hazy eyes. He clutched his throbbing head and struggled to sit up. Though he didn't see the person's face, he swore he'd find whoever dared to drug him and sleep with him. The yandere villain tears apart a doll in public and gets caught by the male lead. In the office, Lin Qi got cheated out by the balding teacher. Then Xi Yingshan walked in. He was also called to the office for skipping, but before he could speak, the teacher already gave him an out. I know you must have been feeling sick. Are you better now? Lin Qi's face went blank in shock, as expected of the genius. Even his skipping gets excused by teachers. The baldy kept grilling Lin Qi about where he was from 1 to 4 p.m. Hearing this, Xi Yingshan fixed his gaze on the boy, because that incident also happened between 1 and 4 p.m. Faced with the boy's inconsistent answers, he was certain this was the person who slept with him. So during his free time, he quoted Lin Qi in the equipment room, trying to force Lin Qi to confess. But Lin Qi refused to admit anything. He even shot back. Do you like me? Is that why you're accusing me of doing that to you? Xi Yingshan wasn't phased. You don't have to admit, but better hope I don't catch you slipping. Finally got rid of the male lead, and now the other male lead showed up. Seeing Mengju walk out from behind the equipment, Lin Qi's first concern was whether he overheard the conversation. Mengju smiled innocently. Wasn't it just you here? I didn't hear anything. Lin Qi laughed it off, saying he was just asking randomly, because he had been talking to the system earlier. Hearing he didn't hear anything put him at ease, but Mengju wasn't telling the truth. In the afternoon, Lin Qi went to pick up the original body's package. What could be in such a huge package? Curious, he opened it, and instantly died inside. It was a custom doll modeled after the other male lead, and worse, Xi Yingshan caught him with. Xi Yingshan glanced at the box. So you're admitting it? Lin Qi's face turned beet red. Admitting what? Yingshan started threatening him. I'm giving you 10 seconds to tell me the truth, or I'll post what you bought on the school forum. When Xi Yingshan counted down to 1, Lin Qi finally gave in. But what he said wasn't what Xi Yingshan wanted to hear. He cleverly claimed he was just the delivery guy, and that Xi Yingshan was the one who bought the doll. At that, several students gathered around. Oh my god, this guy's a total creep, right? Buying something like that, with the classmates as witnesses. Xi Yingshan couldn't use this to blackmail him anymore. Xi Yingshan realized he'd been outplayed, but still gave Lin Qi a menacing warning. Whether you did that or not, you know the truth. When I find proof, I won't let you off. Watching Xi Yingshan storm off in frustration, Qi was pretty pleased with himself. The system also praised Lin Qi for doing great. Who brought up the second mission? Smear Xi Yingshan's reputation in front of Mengju. Because of his poor background, Mengju always works as a waiter at fancy banquets, and Lin Qi, as a rich kid, frequently attends these events. That day, he went to the banquet where Mengju was working, and then saw Mengju getting bullied. Just for his bunny ears and tail being exposed, or the bunny got tied to a toilet seat and harassed. Right now, Mengju was being yelled at by a customer over a mistake. Lin Qi cleverly made the customer trip, then ran off with Mengju. In the hallway, he consoled him, telling Mengju not to take what just happened to heart. Mengju said it was nothing. He'd seen it all before. Lin Qi had a light bulb moment, and went along with what Mengju said. True, this kind of thing happens at school all the time too. Mengju caught the hint in Lin Qi's words. Are you saying there's bullying at our school? Lin Qi took the chance to trash Xi Yingshan. You didn't know. Xi Yingshan, the top student, is total bad news. Not only does he smoke, fight, and get perms like a pro, but behind the scenes, as he rambled on, he didn't notice Xi Yingshan in the distance, eyes locked on him. Who's that guy with Lin Qi? Could it be his crush? After spreading rumors about Xi Yingshan, Lin Qi and the system hid in a corner celebrate. These missions just keep getting easier. Suddenly he felt really itchy. The system remembered Lin Qi's character is allergic to alcohol, and the allergic reaction reveals part of his true form. Seeing the bunny ears pop out suddenly, Lin Qi panicked. And that damn Xi Yingshan just had to walk in on him like this. As a rabbit, he thought about maybe ending up a spicy rabbit head one day, but never imagined it'd be this awkward. Xi Yingshan immediately locked the door. Seeing Lin Qi's bunny tail pop out, he asked with amusement, What kind of trick are you playing? Lin Qi lied, saying he was doing a magic trick, but Xi Yingshen wasn't buying it. He checked Lin Qi's bunny ears with one hand and touched Lin Qi's bunny tail with the other, confirming they were growing from his skin. So you're actually a rabbit. Then he started messing with him. Lin Qi got teased until his legs went weak. In embarrassment and anger, he bit down on Xi Yingshen's shoulder. Xi Yingshen stood there without moving. I've never been bitten by a rabbit before. Did you not eat? Put some effort into it. Insisting again he wasn't a rabbit, just cosplay. Then someone knocked on the door. Open up. Did you fall in or something? A wicked smile crossed Xi Yingshen's face. He locked them both in a stall and tied Lin Qi to the toilet seat. Lin Qi was scared to tears. Xi Yingshen, what are you doing? The little rabbit's identity exposed, and the male lead figured out the entire plot. Right now, Xi Yingshen was staring hungrily at Lin Qi's bunny tail, then started rubbing it hard. Lin Qi cried out in humiliation. He needed to find a way to get out of this. So he struggled to his feet and said dismissively, you keep coming after me. Don't tell me you actually like me. Xi Yingshen chuckled. Take a guess. He wanted to keep teasing the little rabbit, but his phone rang at the worst time. No choice, he had to leave first. After Xi Yingshen left, the system quickly popped out to help Lin Qi untie the ropes. Lin Qi knelt on the toilet seat, getting angrier by the second. Didn't the book say the male lead was a cold genius? But now he's openly molesting a bunny. Where's the aloof gentleman vibe? The system saying maybe that's just how life goes. Host, I believe you can do this. Then it brought up the new mission. The original body was jealous that Xi Yingshen got to perform in a play with Mengju, so he kept sabotaging them and ruining their relationship. But it only brought them closer. Lin Qi promised this time there wouldn't be any slip-ups. First, he hid Xi Yingshen's script in Mengju's desk, or then sabotaged Xi Yingshen's bike brakes. That afternoon, he heard the good news from classmates. Do you think Mengju has beef with our genius? The genius's missing script was found in Mengju's desk. And earlier when the genius was practicing the bike scene with him, he accidentally crashed into her. Lin Qi wore a satisfied smile. Next, he just had to turn the genius's shower photos into memes and spread them around campus, and mission complete. By pure coincidence, the shower style he hid was the same one as Xi Yingshen's. The heavens are on my side. He quickly pulled out his phone to take picture. With a click, he froze on the spot. He forgot to turn off the sound. Shen looked over annoyed. Lin Qi backed up 2 steps terrified. The guy's body was way more built than his. If they fought, he'd definitely lose. Xi Yingshen moved closer to Lin Qi with a dangerous air. Why are you taking pics of me? Lin Qi claimed he just pressed the camera button by accident and wasn't spying on him, then told him to back off, or he'd scream. Xi Yingshen laughed. I rented this whole bathroom out. You can scream all you want. Nobody's talent. Xin Qie looked around, confirmed the guy was talent, and immediately backed down. Sorry. I didn't know you rented this place. I'll leave right now. But what Xi Yingshen said next froze him in place. First you hid my script, racked my brakes, and now you're spying on me. What's your game? Lin Qi looked at Xi Yingshen in disbelief. So you knew it was me all along, and set a trap here for me. Xi Yingshen continued breaking it down for him. You're doing all this to supposedly keep me away from Mengju, but it's full of holes. With your brain, you should know there are cameras everywhere near the drama club and dumpsters. It's like you're deliberately doing things that will fail. And what's this system you keep talking to yourself about? After all that, Lin Qi and the system were scared stiff. Actually, last time in the equipment room, even though Xi Yingshen was drugged and out of it, he still heard Lin Qi talking to something. He was just testing the waters. But seeing Lin Qi panic, he knew he guessed right. So is that thing threatening you? Or are you both evil spirits causing trouble? The system told Lin Qi to think of something fast. If the main storyline collapses, he won't pass his probation. Lin Qi was forced to admit he was a rabbit spirit, but kept his mouth shut about everything else. But the smart genius had already figured it all out. You're completing some mission, right? Like using your pathetic schemes to push me and Mengju together. While Lin Qi and the system stared in shock, Xi Yingshen continued. Too bad I'm not some NPC in your world, and I'm not playing along. The genius pretended to fix the bunny's skirt, but ended up making him cry again. Right now, Lin Qi was secretly placing a love letter in Mengju's desk. Since he couldn't crack the male lead, he'd go after the other male lead. In the book, Mengju fell for Xi Yingshen at first sight. He just needed to write Mengju a love letter using Xi Yingshen's name, and their relationship would take off. Just as he was patting himself on the back for being so clever, Mengju's voice came from behind. Lin Qi, what are you putting in my drawer? Without missing a beat, Lin Qi handed the letter to Mengju. Xi Yingshen asked me to give you this letter. While Mengju read the love letter, Lin Qi kept praising Xi Yingshen for being handsome, smart, and definitely a loyal boyfriend. After reading the letter, Mengju blushed, and happily Lin Qi went with him to meet Xi Yingshen. Lin Qi was thrilled. Looks like his plan worked. But he didn't know Mengju had already figured out the handwriting wasn't Xi Yingshen. Mengju just pretended he didn't know anything. He brought Lin Qi to Xi Yingshen. I read your letter. Thanks for liking me. But the person I like is Link. Lin Qi's jaw dropped. How did things turn out like this? While he was still reeling from the shock, Mengju had already grabbed his hand. He started a passionate confession. In Xi Yingshen shot Lin Qi an annoyed look. Lin Qi freaked out and bolted. Mengju watched Lin Qi's retreating view. A mysterious smile crossed his face. Around the corner, Lin Qi was still shaken. Why would Mengju confess to me? Is something wrong with them? Or is something wrong with me? The problem is definitely you. Lin Qi spun around. Xi Yingshen was standing right behind him. Xi Yingshen got straight to the point. He said he could help him complete the system tasks, but he needed payment. But the payment was for Lin Qi to replace Mengju and perform the play with him. The little bunny was desperate to finish the task. He'd even wear a dress if he had to. If the main plot fell apart, he couldn't return the hat. But what's with these dress ribbons? Why are they so hard to tie? Shy Yunshan waited forever and no one came out, so he walked into the dressing room to check. Out the little bunny jumped to Why'd you come in? Xie Yunshan didn't answer. He just stared at him with burning eyes. Then his chest pressed against his back. His voice dropped low. Need help? Xie Yunshan didn't wait for Ling Qi's answer. He'd already started fixing the rib. Ling Qi froze, not daring to move. The guy asked, how exactly did you grow those bunny ears and tail? Ling Qi didn't want to answer, which played right into someone's hands. He had another excuse to mess with the bunny. Top student, she publicly sniffed the little bunny. The classmates went wild. The couple I ship is real. The little bunny walked on stage fully dressed. Everyone said he was beautiful like a real princess, but he wasn't in the mood for compliment. He picked up the script to study it. This plot is insane. Basically, he plays the princess, who has to wake the prince played by Xie Yunshan with a kiss. It's just a fake angle. Cheek to corner of the mouth. But when he leaned close to Xie Yunshan, his face flushed and his heart raced. Too nervous to go through with it. Just then a voice came from outside. Ling Qi, someone's here for you. Ling Qi was saved. He dashed toward the door. Turns out it was Meng Ju looking for him. Meng Ju was wiping tears pitifully. Ling Qi, did I scare you the other day? Do you hate me now? Ling Qi shook his head frantically. I don't hate you. Meng Ju got excited. He grabbed Ling Qi's hand and asked, can you give me a chance? Ling Qi broke into a cold sweat. How's the plot gotten this weird? Can you look at the main lead? While he was stuck, Xie Yunshan appeared like a ghost behind them. Had enough. Ling Qi, everyone's waiting for you to rehearse. Ling Qi didn't want to go back to rehearsal, but this was the perfect chance to escape. The couple that should be together officially became rivals. After Meng Ju left, Xie Yunshan got more annoyed, so he shamelessly demanded more payment. Besides performing the play with him, Ling Qi had to agree to other demands too. The bunny wasn't a pushover. He declared the deal off, then turned to leave in a huff. But Xie Yunshan pulled him into his arm and leaned in close. The classmates gasped. The couple I ship is real. After stealing that advantage, Xie Yunshan backed off a bit. This time I can have dinner with Meng Ju first, to move your task forward. As for later, depends on how you behave. The bunny was so mad he pulled his own ear. He wanted to punch him but couldn't win. Even with Xie Yunshan's help, he still wasn't happy. He could tell the main lead had zero interest in the other lead. At this rate, the main plot would collapse anyway, so he decided to move up a later plot point. The book said Xie Yunshan was cold outside but warm inside. He was touched by Meng Ju's goodness and kindness at the orphanage. Tomorrow's Saturday anyway, so he texted them both separately to meet at the orphanage tomorrow. The night he got the text, Xie Yunshan happily picked out clothes. He kept asking the butler if he looked good. The butler thought the sun rose in the west. His young master never cared about looks before, yet here he was asking this. Young master, are you going on a date? Xie Yunshan's usually cold eyes lit up with a smile. Not a date. Just a little bunny who wants to see me. Compared to the main lead's good mood, the other lead looked much gloomier. He stood numbly at the door, coldly watching his parents fight like always. The scheming little bunny first got the main lead to accompany the other lead, then locked them both in the same room. Meng Ju was sick of this home. His father beat him. His mother verbally abused him, but he still put on an obedient act, because he'd soon use Ling Qi to leave this world. At the orphanage he acted as usual, playing the kind and gentle persona in front of Ling Qi. A car horn sounded outside. Xie Yunshan got out. A kid was crying over lost shoes. Meng Ju gently comforted him and found the kid a new pair. Ling Qi almost fell for the other lead watching this sweet scene. Xie Yunshan walked in. Ling Qi looked at Xie Yunshan expectantly. Right, falling for him, right? But Xie Yunshan coldly asked him, you invited Meng Ju too? Ling Qi froze on the spot. What's with this guy? He quickly covered. More people, more fun. Plus we're all classmates. Since you're here, let's hang with the kids. Then he went on praising how great Meng Ju was. First bringing handmade candy for the kids, then patiently reading them stories. Meng Ju played along. I just helped out a tiny bit. Xie Yunshan laughed at Meng Ju's act. What a model citizen. Suddenly a little girl pointed outside and shouted, Xiao Zhai climbed the tree to get the kite. Ju looked back and immediately ran toward Shai. Xiao Ji kept moving toward the kite. His foot slipped and he fell from the tree. Meng Ju caught him safely. Meng Ju gently told the kid not to do dangerous things. Watching the other lead with so many good qualities, Ling Qi was frustrated Xie Yunshan was blind not to like him, so he decided to create alone time for them. Can you and Meng Ju take Xiao Ji back to rest? I'm tied up right now. Watching them leave together, Ling Qi felt the task would be done soon. The system praised Ling Qi. At this rate, the main plot won't collapse. Ling Qi said this was just the beginning. He had a second plan. He brought them to buy tickets for a haunted house. Boss, 3 tickets. The boss broke into a cold sweat. What, 3 people? Don't scare me. Ling Qi turned back and realized Xie Yunshan was standing way far away. He walked over to invite Shy Yunshan to join. Xie Yunshan flat out refused. Ling Qi narrowed his eyes mischievous. His top student, she's scared of ghosts. Xie Yunshan insisted he wasn't scared of ghosts. Ling Qi gave him a knowing look. He turned to Meng Ju all cutesy. Since the top student's scared, let's just go in. Men can't resist the challenge. Xie Yunshan blurted out he'd go too. The little bunny was thrilled. He's a genius. Crying sounds filled the haunted house. Xia Yunshan looked worse and worse. Ling Qi pretended not to notice and kept explaining the rules. But we just have to exit within the time limit to win. An actor tapped Ling Qi's shoulder. Ling Qi turned and froze in terror. Screaming, he pushed them forward, then locked them both in a room. That scared me to death. But at least I got them together. The main lead confessed his feelings to Ling. The other lead revealed his dark side. and tied Ling Qi up. In the book, the main couple got locked in a closet as a prank, couldn't find a way out, so they waited for rescue. They ended up talking about the past. The main lead finally learned the other lead had secretly loved him for years. After that, their relationship took off. The little bunny was bouncing excitedly outside waiting for good news. Suddenly the door was kicked open from inside. Xu Yongshen stared coldly at him. Having fun. Ling Qi laughed nervously. How'd you get out? Xu Yongshen decided to teach the little bunny a lesson. He dragged him into the room and shut the door. So you said you invited me? But really you're trying to set me up with Mengju. Ling Qi was confused. Isn't that the deal we made? Xu Yongshen laughed bitterly. Yeah, that's what we agreed. But who told me to hope for more? Ling Qi didn't understand what Xu Yongshen meant. Xu Yongshen said bluntly, compared to that fake guy who can't tell left shoe from right, I'm way more interested in you. The little bunny's first thought was he liked his bunny tail and ears. Face red, he warned. You better not be interested. I'm never letting you touch my bunny ears and tail again. Seeing the little bunny still didn't get it, Xu Yongshen got more. You don't understand anything. Yes, you're trying to set people up. Mengju's voice came from outside. Ling Qi, you okay? Ling Qi tried to speak, but Xu Yongshen covered his mouth, then held him tight. Do you know what it means to like someone? Don't know. No problem. I'll teach you. What happened next? Use your imagination. Ling Qi's face turned red. He pushed Xu Yongshen away with all his strength. But Xu Yongshen went even further. In panic, he had a thought. Well, Xu Yongshen, I'm a bunny. We're not from the same world. You and Mengju are meant to be. But Xu Yongshen never believed in fate. He gave Ling Qi 3 days to think about being with him or not. The door was kicked open with a bang. Why are you forcing Ling Qi? Xu Yongshen smirked. So you were eavesdropping openly. Lang Zhu didn't argue with Xie Yongshen. He just grabbed Ling Qi to leave. Xie Yongshen, what right do you have to take him? It's mine. The two leads were about to fight. Ling Qi shouted for them to stop. I'll leave on my own. Both their eyes turned to him. Ling Qi's face changed. System, what do I do? That night the system was expertly kneeling on the key. Host, I'm sorry. Ling Qi was furious. Where were you earlier? You always disappear during key plot points. In the original plot, I as the obsessed one kept clumsily trying to break up the main couple, but I just became a stepping stone for their love. But the plot's so messed up now. I shouldn't have listened to your nonsense about completing tasks. The system's survival instinct kicked in. Even if the main plot collapses, you can still complete the task. We only agreed you'd finish 5 tasks to clear the game. You've already done 3. Ling Qi thought about it. That made sense. But could he really trust the system? The next day, Mengju asked Ling Qi to meet at a cafe. He enthusiastically pushed ice cream to Ling Qi. This is really good. Try it. Ling Qi took a few bites. It tasted great. While chatting, he felt Mengju was different today. Until Mengju said, Ling Qi, do you think this world is fair? Why are some people born in the light, while others have to endure darkness? Ling Qi tried to speak, but his eyelids felt too heavy to lift. When he woke up, he found himself tied up in a dark warehouse. The main lead saved the little bunny from the fire, while he himself stayed in the flames. The person in black not only knew Ling Qi was a bunny spirit, but also knew he came to this world to complete tasks. His demand was simple. Ling Qi had to send him out of this world. The cloth was removed. Ling Qi frantically explained, even though you know my identity, I can only leave this world if I complete the tasks. The person in black didn't believe him. He poured gasoline all over Ling Qi. Holding a lighter, he threatened, if you can't do it, you better figure something out. Xi Yongshen came looking for Ling Qi. A classmate told him Ling Qi left on sick leave that afternoon, but he saw Ling Qi's driver still at the school gate. In the warehouse, Ling Qi tried to keep the person in black calm. Let me go first. Once I finish the mission, I'll help you. The man in black shot back, how exactly do you plan to help me? Ling Qi felt uneasy. The system never said anything about bringing people to other worlds. Sensing what Ling Qi was thinking, the system popped up. Haixia, don't bother thinking about it. I don't have clearance to take anyone but you out. Seeing Ling Qi silent for so long, the man in black lost his patience. I'm counting to 3, if you can't give me a solution. After counting down, the man in black threw down the lighter. At that moment, Ling Qi shouted, you can't leave this world at all. As soon as he spoke, the fire erupted. In the crisis, Xi Yongshen suddenly appeared, using his own clothes to block the spreading flame. But the fire was too big, it couldn't be stopped. Seeing this, he quickly turned and untied the ropes on Ling Qi. The fire soon climbed up his back. The intense burning made veins bulge at his temples. Ling Qi cried out, begging Xi Yongshen to stop saving him, or else he'd burn to death here too. When Xi Yongshen ignored him and kept untying the ropes finally came loose, and he ran toward the exit with Ling Qi. But when they reached the exit, he turned and ran back into the fire. Ling Qi frantically called after him, what are you doing? I'm going to avenge you. With that, he charged into the sea of flame. Meanwhile, the man in black hid in the shadows watching. Taking advantage of Xi Yongshen's distraction, he pumped. Then he started beating him viciously, all while roaring, you think you're some hero? I'll teach you to play the hero. Xi Yongshen snapped out of it and grabbed the man in black's, yanking hard and throwing him to the ground. He demanded furiously, who are you? Why are you trying to hurt Ling Qi? The man in black revealed his face. Mengju looked like he'd lost his mind. People like you could never understand how I feel. I want to leave this place. I know Ling Qi can make it happen, but you won't help me. Why are you all against me? But now you can't get out either. Xi Yongshen, you can die here with me. Yongshen was stunned by Mengju's words and lost focus for a moment. He didn't notice Mengju's hand moving toward his neck. As the fingers stuck, intense pain flooded his brain. Mengju took the chance. Shen couldn't get up because of the excruciating pain. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself lying in a hospital, with Ling Qi keeping watch by his bed. Just then the doctor walked in. Good thing your friend pulled you out of the fire in time. Any later and it would have been bad. Xi Yongshen looked at Ling Hai. So you ran back in to find me. Ling Qi wore a proud expression. You saved me, so I had to save you. but man, carrying you was a workout. Xie Yungshen doubted Ling Shi could carry him. In fact, he'd been dragged out by Ling Shi and the system together. At that moment, a new task appeared. Follow Meng Ju and steal clothes with his scent from his house. Ling Shi confirmed with the system. If I finish these 2 tasks, I can leave this world. The system happily confirmed, but Ling Shi wasn't as happy as expected. He'd been dead set on finishing the task and leaving. But now that he was about to complete it, his chest felt tight and uncomfortable. Either way, the task had to be done. He got up to leave. But Xie Yungshen stopped him, placing his arms on either side of him. Can you hug me? The little rabbit was being chased by the crazed protagonist. At the critical moment, the male lead blocked the blade. Now the little rabbit threw himself into Xie Yungshen's arms. He didn't understand how he ended up hugging him. Xie Yungshen kissed the top of the little rabbit's head. I don't know why, but I feel like this is the last time we'll see each other. How nice would it be if there was always a little rabbit by my side? What's that? He leaned in, but he wasn't satisfied with just a kiss. Then things escalated. Afterward, the little rabbit left reluctantly, knowing it might really be the last time they'd meet. The task of following Meng Ju was complete. Now he just needed to steal clothes from Meng Ju's house. On the way, he asked the system, isn't Meng Ju supposed to be pure and good? How did he turn evil? The system explained this was actually pretty common. NPCs in small worlds are living people. The smallest thing can cause a character to change. While they talked, Ling Shi arrived at Meng Ju's door. He found the door unlocked, so he pushed it open and quietly searched for Meng Ju's clothes. Then he heard Meng Ju's voice behind him. Ling Shi, you finally came. Meng Ju seemed to have known Ling Shi would come, and at his feet lay a worn piece of clothing. Ling Shi tried hard to suppress his panic. He repeated, no matter what you do to me, I can't take you with me. Meng Ju looked utterly hopeless. Why did you let me hear that? Why did you give me hope? Ling Shi thought to himself, so the conversation with Xie Yungshen at the haunted house was overheard. Meng Ju kept wallowing in self-pity. I really want to leave this world. Do you know how painful it is to not be loved by your parents but tortured instead? Ling Shi shot back. But that's no reason to hurt me and Xie Yungshen. But Meng Ju wouldn't listen. The first time I saw you, I thought you were my salvation. But in the end, you disappointed me too. Ling Shi didn't know what to say. He bent down and picked up the clothes, and as he prepared to leave, Meng Ju said something strange. Take what you came for and go. This time, I'm sorry. After leaving the complex, Ling Shi kept wondering what Meng Ju meant. He wanted to ask the system, but the system had disappeared again. He looked down at the clothes in his hand, thinking Meng Ju was actually pretty pitiful. Then he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw Meng Ju running toward him with an axe. Ling Shi ran for his life in terror, but he couldn't outrun Meng Ju. Just as the axe was about to strike, Xie Yungshen rushed over and shielded Ling Kai tightly. The axe came down on Xie Yungshen. Xie Yungshen! Li screamed in despair. As he shouted, the axe crashed to the ground. Both Xie Yungshen and Meng Ju had vanished. At the same time, a warning popped up. Unknown virus detected in this dimension. The small world is about to collapse. Dimension protagonist Yi Shuangshen has mysteriously disappeared. Now wanted network-wide. Ling Xi was still reeling from the shock after reading these messages. But the next second, he appeared on a strange bed. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? The little rabbit was ravished the moment he arrived, and got another twisted script. Ling Shi was dropped into a second small world. The protagonist is a prince living in exile, entering the Grand Tutor's mansion as a stable. Eventually he and the Grand Tutor meet and fall in love, and he's the wicked crown prince who covets the Grand Tutor, because he keeps causing trouble. After the protagonist's prince identity is restored, he gets killed. The system said he just needed to complete the assigned tasks like before. Ling Shi was still stuck on the last small world. What about Xie Yungshen? How did he just disappear? The system didn't know the reason, but still offered gentle comfort. Xie Yungshen is the protagonist of the small world. The heavenly emperor won't just abandon him. Ling Shi repeatedly urged them to find Xie Yungshen, then started following the plot. But why did he get another twisted script? He first tied up the Grand Tutor according to the book's plot, then provoked him verbally. After that, he just had to wait for the Grand Tutor to break free and escape. But why isn't the Grand Tutor moving? Instead, he's blushing and asking him for help. The plot spiraled down. The little rabbit cried his eyes out. I'm the crown prince, second only to Wang. Why am I always the one getting bullied? Afterward, he complained to the system. In the last world, I was also completely overpowered by the male lead. Are you sure the info you gave me is right? The system, enjoying a relaxing bath, replied, yep, it's right. Xi, you just tied the knots too tight. That's why the Grand Tutor couldn't get free. Fumed. How is that my fault? Is the crown prince not only twisted but also an idiot? Can't even tie a rope properly? Did the system patiently reassure them? Of course it's not your fault, but the mission is important. We need to pull ourselves together. According to the timeline, the stable hand should already be at the Grand Tutor's mansion, and your next task is to beat up the stable hand under some pretext. But he just did that with the Grand Tutor. Couldn't help feeling like a rabbit walking into a tiger's den. Meanwhile, the Grand Tutor sat in his room deep in thought. The crown prince used to be arrogant, but now he's changed. If the drug hadn't worn off quickly, who knows how far things would have gone. As the crown prince's teacher, he had a duty to set the crown prince straight. In the stable, Ling Tiao was feeding a horse. A servant genuinely praised her. Sir, you have such good judgment. This new stable hand is amazing with horses. Should I bring him up to serve you personally? Hearing this, the Grand Tutor's mind flashed to scenes with the crown prince. He admitted the crown prince was different from before. That face made his heart itch. Realizing he was paying too much attention to the crowd, he snapped back, telling the servant not to summon the stable hand, and to make sure he wore proper clothes. The stable hand looked at the Grand Tutor puzzled. The servant was equally confused. What's wrong with the sir? This wasn't his attitude when he recruited the stable. Meanwhile, the crown prince arrived. The Grand Tutor is resting today, I shouldn't disturb him. The Grand Tutor's eyes turned cold. He brought the crown prince in, then picked up a disciplinary ruler. Your Highness just came to ask questions. Nothing else to say. The little rabbit trembled with fear. Since he couldn't escape, he might as well tell the truth. He dropped to his knees with a thud. Grand Tutor, I just made a mistake any man would make, and I shouldn't have drugged you. Please be merciful and forgive me. Is this still the same arrogant crown prince? The Grand Tutor was speechless. After a moment of silence, his lips curled up. When you make a mistake, you face punishment. So please strip, Your Highness. The little rabbit's voice trembled. Can't you just hit my palms? The Grand Tutor's gaze settled on the Crown Prince's rear. That won't hurt enough. If your highness is to learn a lesson, I'll have to hit somewhere else. The little rabbit immediately understood where the Grand Tutor meant. He covered his rear. No way, I, the Crown Prince, forbid it. The Grand Tutor kept saying he wasn't interested in the crown, but seeing his rear, his throat bobbed. The Crown Prince, knowing to refuse meant he still had shame. He must have just been led astray before, so he decided not to dwell on, and instead asked which book he didn't understand. The little rabbit was relieved, so the Grand Tutor was just scaring him. But listening to the Grand Tutor's lecture was so boring. In just moments, he felt dizzy. To stop the Grand Tutor's droning and speed up the mission, he decided to sacrifice his good looks. So he quietly pulled down his collar, exposing a bit of chest. He put on a flirtatious look. I've already heard all this at the Imperial Academy. You're being so thorough. You want some alone time with me, don't you? The Grand Tutor was thorough. Your highness refuses to repent. The little rabbit doubled down and leaned against the Grand Tutor's chest. What are you talking about? I'm just tired and want to cuddle. The Grand Tutor's expression. He pressed the Crown Prince's hands down on the desk, then picked up the ruler, striking the little rabbit's rear hard. The little rabbit wailed from the blows. Grand Tutor, stop, it hurts. After a few strikes, the Grand Tutor stopped. As Crown Prince and heir apparent, you can't take this little pain. Get up and continue studying. The little rabbit remained sprawled on the desk, looking at him resentfully. You're not the one getting hit. Of course it doesn't hurt. With that, he started rubbing his own rear. Seeing the Crown Prince like this, the Grand Tutor wondered if he'd actually hurt. The Crown Prince had always been pampered and delicate. Thinking this, he tore off the rabbit's pants. The little rabbit was terrified. Why are you stripping me? The Grand Tutor's face didn't change. I need to make sure your highness isn't injured. The little rabbit blushed and tried to refuse, but it was too late. The Grand Tutor saw the redness. He was indeed injured. I'll apply medicine. The little rabbit protested in Then he tried crawling forward, to refuse physically. But the Grand Tutor how? Shining has never had improper thoughts. But when your highness drugged me before, didn't he show a shred of restraint? Why the shyness now? That his body trembled uncontrollably. Watching this, the Grand Tutor's throat bobbed. Noticing something stirring, he quickly turned away to hide his embarrassment. He heard the Grand Tutor say the medicine was all upon, but the Grand Tutor had barely touched him. After that, he was kept in the study to continue his reading. Soon the stable hand passed by the window leading a horse. The mission was literally delivering itself, so he hid behind the window and deliberately dropped his jade pendant on the ground. The stable hand smiled, walked over and bent down to pick up the pendant. Seeing this, the little rabbit put on his villain face. So you dare steal my jade pendant? Today I'll clean house for the Grand Tutor's mansion. Someone bring me my whip. The stable hand dropped to his knees with a thud, holding the jade pendant with tears in his eyes.